gentlemen, welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody. I am joined alongside my co-host and good friend London Beth, and happy Friday. It is Friday, August 10th, 2021, 2 days before the Chicago Bears kickoff against the LA Rams. We are drinking. Welcome to our tailgate. It's going to be Friday, fun day moving forward. This week's drink of choice for me is a Moscow Mule. London's drink of choice is a 40-ounce Vizzy because we don't drink the little things in life. But here we go. We are about to dive into our quick news about the Chicago Bears, what we want to see out of the offense and the defense, and our 3 keys to the game. But before we begin, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Stupid Car Tray. Tired of your pizza toppings sliding, office coffee distracting you while driving, grease and other stains getting on your seat, or you're just enjoying a game on the couch and don't want to lean over? Look no further than the Stupid Car Tray. Proudly USA made, Stupid Car Tray makes your passenger seat or couch a level surface for all transportation and couch potato needs. Visit www.stupidcartray.com and use discount code J16 to get 16% off your entire order. Link in the description.
Stupid Car Trays always saves the day, especially this coming up Sunday night for this game. I'm going to have my Stupid Car Tray right next to me. I'm going to have my beer or my Vizzy. Vizzy, call us if you ever want to sponsor. We're going to absolutely go off. I'm so excited. So make sure you have your Stupid Car Tray so you don't spill your beer and look like that guy. You know, everybody knows that guy. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. And we would have Millers. But we could not find any with the Bear case because they were all sold out at both our locations.
I know. That was unreal.
You can't do anything. I can't.
They all have Packer stuff on them, and I'm like, ugh.
And I shop at Sam's Club, and they had a pallet of it last week. There was nothing. People are preparing. I mean, I need to find one. I just need to find a Bears case. You know, I need to keep it. I'm not going to do what they do in college where like you put it against the wall or so, unless they win, unless it's the winning case that actually could be fun. I'll start doing that instead of the flag. So stay tuned for that. That's a pretty good idea on the fly. But anyway, we are drinking. We are having a good time. Welcome to our Friday podcast of the Chicago Bears Friday Fun Day. Let's go into quick Bears news. Eddie Goldman is still uncertain for this Sunday's game against the LA Rams. No problem, though, because we have a guy named Blau Nichols. We also have a guy with the last name Tonga. Pretty overall impressive front. We would love for Eddie to be there. We hope he has a speedy recovery. Players that may be, not as fast. Unfortunately, it is to say Khalil Mack is battling a groin injury. More to come on that, but we are hoping that he's 100% good to go. Also, could be a little tactic that Matt Nagy's doing because Matt Nagy loves to trick other coaches in thinking that players are hurt. Joel, I'm not even going to try it. I had it on the last script. I couldn't pronounce it right now. Oh, wait, maybe I can. Stay tuned. Let's give it a try. But I'll go through the rest really fast. Darnell Mooney has a back injury. He will be likely to play, though he was limited at practice all week, and same with Robert Quinn. Now, who I was trying to say was Joel Iyiegbuniwe has a shoulder injury. Please stay tuned for that. Thank you, London. I appreciate that. I had to redeem myself because we have people saying that I'm all of a sudden much better at pronouncing names. Got to stick with it, right? So overall, that's the Bears news. There could be more coming out over the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that. We will be posting that on our Twitter at Just Another Year Chicago or official Jay Shy. We will also be doing it on our Twitters. Our handles are below us. So let's go into what we want to see out of the offense. London, I want you to kick things off.
Yeah, the biggest thing, Nick, that I want to see from our offense, and I'm going to kind of take it from a different perspective. I'm going to take it from what the Rams lost on their defensive side. And I know then you're going to kind of go into why that's going to make it such a just field day for our offense. Okay.
Absolutely.
So going into last year, the LA Rams had the number 1 defense in the NFL. Okay, they were an absolute tear. Now, these games that we've been playing against the LA Rams have been very close games. And I'm going to continue to say that over and over again throughout this podcast is they've been very, very close games. We beat them by a couple points. They beat us by a couple points. And honestly, I don't know why the NFL the last couple of years has just loved to match us up against the LA Rams, but it's been a very good kind of series and a little bit of a non-conference rivalry. And I like it. I really do enjoy it. Just watching these two defensive dominant teams go against each other and just battle it out.
I wanted to interrupt you really fast.
Go.
But when you mean by a couple points, I know it was 24-10 the last time the Bears played the Rams.
But the games before that.
But 14 points were scored just in one quarter. You take that quarter away, it's a tie game. So
and before that, the games were a lot closer. Again, last year we just weren't the team we were in 2018 and 2019. So going into that, everybody is talking about how the LA Rams have this amazing defense and how, Aaron Donald, which again, he's a great player, but how they're just going to come in and they're going to steamroll our offensive line. They're going to steamroll our wide receivers. We're not going to be able to run the ball. Andy Dalton's going to fall apart and all hell is going to break loose. What I'm telling everybody is you need to relax a little bit. Okay. This defense is not the defense that they had last year. They didn't pull a Tampa Bay Buccaneers and brought every single person back. Okay. Now, Nick, the guys that they lost were actually extremely significant to the success of this team last year. They lost Josh Johnson, who was their number one safety. The other guy, Taylor Rapp, who was their other safety, who actually stayed, has been really, really up and down. I think he's from the University of Washington. He's been really up and down. Josh Johnson was their Eddie Jackson. Okay. He has left, gone to the Cleveland Browns. Troy Hill, who was their CB2, has also left. He went on to another team. And again, this is just more things that they're losing in the secondary and having to bring younger guys, less experienced guys into this secondary around Jalen Ramsey. Next guy they lost is Michael Brocker. Michael Brocker played on the D-line. I think he played D-end. He's left end or right end. I don't exactly know which one. And he was an absolute force out of LSU. Okay. He's been a really, really great player, been on the LA Rams for a while. He has also left. And so they've had to bring in new guys. If you look at this team on their D-line, take out Aaron Donald. We all know he's going to have a good game. They're looking at a Sean Robinson from Detroit, I'm pretty sure. Joseph Day, who again is a player that has just been kind of a role player on a few other teams, and then Aaron Donald. Then you go into their linebackers. Their linebackers are absolute. They don't have the Roquan Smiths, the Khalil Macks, the players like we do.
Alec Ogletree.
Yeah, Alec Ogletree. Actually, they lost Alec Ogletree to us, which I think was a huge hit to them.
Well, he went to the Giants, but then he came.
They have Kenny Young. They have Troy Reeder. They have Justin Hollins. And then, of course, they have Leonard Floyd, who had a great season last season. But again, losing guys like Michael Brocker, I think will hurt Leonard Floyd's productivity on this team. So going into it, and I just want you to now go into the why our offense is going to be successful against this defense. I want everybody to understand that the players that the LA Rams have lost in this offseason will drastically affect the way in which this defense plays. Aaron Donald is still going to do him. We're still going to have to double team that man. But I think, and I'm just saying this, Nick, and I'm going to put out a prediction here. I don't think Jalen Ramsey is going to have as good of a year this year because of the defensive secondary players that he has lost. He's going to be able to be exposed like he was. And again, I'm just going to say this, like he was against the Green Bay Packers in that playoff game where they moved Devontae Adams all over the place and absolutely exposed him. He doesn't have those players around him anymore, the Josh Johnson, the Troy Hills and stuff, to back him up when he primarily will get burned by Darnell Mooney and we'll all lose our minds. So I'm just saying everybody needs to relax a little bit about this LA Rams. I think our offense is going to do great. Nick, go into what our offense is going to do to dominate this absolute picked apart Rams defense.
So I want to go into, I think you hit on absolutely fantastic points, especially in regards to their secondary, okay? Because we lost Kyle Fuller, so we know the pain of that. But also, we kept most of our DBs. We kept 3 out of the 4. Let's just make that clear. I know a lot of people, obviously, losing Fuller is big. But the Rams were the number 1 defense in the NFL last year. Why? Because they had an absolutely great secondary. They also have Aaron Donald. You can't deny that. A defensive tackle that can blow through the line and get 20 sacks a season is beyond impressive. Hall of Fame status. No doubt about that. But the Rams were a strong team because you could not pass against the Rams. There's no doubt about that. And now that you've lost that talent, the Rams are in trouble. And especially when we have the fastest wide receiver room in the NFL. We have a guy named Andy Dalton who is much better at throwing the deep ball than Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky last year. We have a guy named Justin Fields who could go in and do play action. Overall, it's going to be a much tougher game, and the Rams are not going to steamroll over the Chicago Bears. If they do, I eat my words. But the likeliness of that happening is significantly less than last year. So like Lennon was saying, let's go to what we're going to see, what we want to see out of the offense. David Montgomery is going to run the ball a lot. There is no doubt about that. He deserves it. David Montgomery came onto the scene last year. More than half his rushing yards came in the second half of the season. Overall, David Montgomery had a 1,500 yards total season. I see David Montgomery having a 1,700 yard season. I said that in the last episode. Overall, it's going to be a lot of outside runs away from Aaron Donald, because that's what's going to happen. If I said Aaron McDonald earlier, I'm sorry about that. But Aaron Donald overall is not going to be a threat. If you have James Daniel, Sam Mustipher, and Cody Whitehair going at that guy's throat every single play, and also making sure that he is going away from the ball, then what David Montgomery is doing, that is what's going to happen out of the offense. That is where you're going to see success. And like you're saying, Leonard Floyd is not going to be as much of a weapon because you lost some of those key defensive parts to the front seven for the LA Rams. Let's go into the second point I have. Andy Dalton is going to be very aggressive with the deep ball. I kind of was hitting on it earlier, is that we have one of the fastest wide receiving group in the NFL. Guys are going to break away from Jalen Ramsey. There's no doubt about that. They're going to break away from all their corners and DBs as a whole. It is what it is. He can hit the deep ball better than Mitch. And again, when Nick Foles threw that one to Darnell Mooney that just went over Mooney's head last year, that would have been a touchdown easily. Could have changed the momentum of the game. Andy Dalton's the guy that has a very, very, very much better chance of hitting that deep pass. So overall, very excited to see that. And then finally, probably shocked I didn't say this one first. The offensive line is going to control this game. When you have Aaron Donald on the other side of the ball, they need to make sure they contain him, which I think they can. And London's going to get into that in a little bit. But this is a huge game for the offensive line. It could shut a lot of haters up. It could also raise a lot of red flags and things Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy might have to do in order to improve it. But you have most of the returning offensive line that was in the second half of the season last year. And guess what? They did pretty darn good for David Montgomery and even for Mitchell Trubisky as a whole in that second half. So more to come from that. Now let's go to the defensive side of the ball. London, are you willing to start or do you want me to start this one? Because I know this one's probably the hottest topic of it all.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
So I'm going to, again, I want to just talk about what their offense looks like, and then we'll kind of go into, your keys and how they're going to use it. Just like we just did with the offense, like it was a really good flow. Okay, so returning, it's the LA Rams are a tad bit different than their defensive side. They did have a lot of players returning. They lost Jared Everett, their starting tight end, to the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, and then they lost their starting running back, Cam Akers, to injury to end the season. They did bring in Sony Michel from the Patriots. Again, I'm going to hit on him a little bit, but I'm not as concerned about him as everybody else. Other than that, their offensive line is returning. They still have Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, good receivers, Deshaun Jackson, so on and so forth. The big thing here, and if you look at their offensive personnel just as a whole, okay, the difference that they're going to have from last year to this year is, of course, at the quarterback position. Okay, Jared Goff is gone. Okay, he's gone. He's in Detroit now, and we're going to just beat up on him, 2 times a year, in Detroit. They brought in Matthew Stafford. What is the difference between Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff? And that is just the arm strength, period. Older quarterback, arm strength. That's what Matthew Stafford is. So the things that we need to do, especially for our defense to be successful, is we need to, of course, and this is the biggest thing that I saw in preseason that will absolutely kill us if we don't, we need to play assignment sound defense. If you are in Eddie Jackson, if you are in the position to make a play, you have to make that play, especially if they are throwing it on us. I don't believe that Sony Michel is going to be as much of a versatile threat as I think Cam Akers would be, especially running the ball. I'm not really a big Sony Michel fan. Nick Chubb was the way better running back at Georgia, but we need to play assignment sound defense, and everybody who's everybody on the field needs to know what their position is and where they need to go. I know we talked about stopping the pass. I don't believe that they're going to run the ball as effectively as they did last year after losing Cam Akers. Okay, Sony Michel is not a 3-down back. I know they have Darrell Henderson, who's a little bit of a bigger back out of Memphis. I still don't see him as a 3-down back. Sony Michel is more of a versatile pass catching, kind of all over the place back. I just don't see them on their roster, and I'm looking at it right now. I don't see a 3-down back like David Montgomery. Okay, that is something that we should really, really key on, and something that we need to focus on as a defense. Okay, these games, and like I alluded to before, these games are always close, other than last year. Okay, because we just had a bad team.
Which last year was close.
Yes, yeah.
Minus one quarter.
Yeah,
minus one
exactly.
Quarter.
Minus one quarter. It was a close game. These games are always going to be close, so it's going to come down to our defense making that play. I think that Coach Desai coming on and bringing that new kind of re-energized defense like we saw in 2018 with more turnovers, that's what's going to change this game. The first team to either get an interception or a forced fumble or something like that, because these games are so close, is what's going to dictate the rest of the game, and I expect us to be that team. Like we just talked about, the Rams defense is kind of picked apart. So on the defensive side, somebody needs to step up and make an effing play. Okay. If somebody needs to get a strip sack like Khalil Mack, which he's very, very much, accustomed to, Roquan Smith or Jalen Johnson, or somebody needs to get an interception. If we make that play and get that first turnover, I think that will drastically sway the momentum of the game and have our defense have the energy they need to absolutely dominate this team.
Watch out. That Vizzy is kicking in right now. London just went off. I totally agree with everything that you're saying. I don't think the Rams' offense is amazing. And, I don't think
they were amazing last year. And I know they added Matthew Stafford, and everybody's like, oh, he's fantasy and he's going to throw. Yes, they're going to throw more. But in the NFL, you still need to run the ball. I know, look at Derrick Henry. You still need to run the ball.
And against the Bears front seven, with or without Goldman, you are not able to run the ball very well. So when we get to our score predictions, that's what I'm going to get to in a little bit. But let me get into my thing from the defensive side of the ball. Blitz the hell out of Matthew Stafford. Sean Desai is back, or not back. He is in the lead now. So Vic Fangio's aggressive defense is back. I'm done. You know what? I'm done calling it Vic Fangio's defense. This is Sean Desai's defense. This is Coach Desai's defense. This is his team. No longer calling him Vic Fangio 2.0 because he is Coach Desai. Stafford cannot move. He is not a mobile quarterback. He is no better than Jared Goff. Stafford hates playing the Bears. He's been eaten up his whole career by the Bears. And, sure, he's had good games against the Bears, but, he doesn't win. He does not defeat the Bears. And I don't see that changing in an LA Rams uniform. And I'm giving a hint that I got the Bears winning. Score is going to be what makes the difference. Eddie Jackson and company have to be ball hawks, though. They have to go after the ball. They have to get those interceptions that London was talking about. They have to make a play happen, because when the defense scores, takes time off the offense, defense wins championships. That's how we do it in Chicago. And guess what? Sean Desai is going to make sure that happens. He's much more aggressive. Eddie Jackson is in for a big year. London has him as defensive MVP. Go check out our last episode on who we think that is. Overall, I think this defense is going to just go crazy. And Roquan Smith, he's going to be running all over the field. They can't run it up the middle against us because Roquan Smith and Alec Ogletree are going to be able to go against on the outsides. You have Khalil Mack there as well. Even Robert Quinn. This is Robert Quinn comeback year. He's got to prove it. He's playing his former team. Very exciting time for him. The defense, I think, is going to have a much better game overall than the offense. We all know that. But I think that they are going to outplay LA's defense too. So stay tuned for that. And that is straight optimism. That is straight just, me being a Bears fan and also a little bit of this. So we are going to go into our 3 keys of the game. And I'm just going to start off really fast from my points earlier. Throw the ball deep. Throw it, throw it, throw it. You have the fastest wide receiver group in the NFL. Guys will be open. Make Jalen Ramsey eat his words. Make him live. Make the whole Bears team live rent-free in his head. Throw it down the field, Andy Dalton, or Justin Fields if he's in the game. Go after Matthew Stafford and rattle his cage. I just hit on that. But the second you rattle Stafford's cage, he might be tough as nails. I mean, there's no doubt about that Matthew Stafford's a tough guy. But if you have a guy, if you're putting him on his ass every 5 minutes or every 5 plays, let's say, he's going to get shooken up. Overall, I just go after Matthew Stafford. Just get it done. And then finally, throw Fields in. Throw him in for various plays, different packages. Make, Sean McVay think. Make him think. Matt Nagy, now you have the opportunity to actually kind of trick people because you have a dual threat, and your second string quarterback to a degree is a bigger threat than your first string quarterback. So overall, throw Justin Fields in there, at least for a couple of plays. If it's garbage time, throw him out there. Just get him some playing time. That's my 3 keys to the game, and that's how the Bears are going to win. London, 3 keys to the game.
Yeah, Nick, my 3 keys to the game are simple. Win the line of scrimmage, okay? Aaron Donald was absolutely put on a social media viral video, getting absolutely destroyed when they went to a practice on Hard Knocks against the Dallas Cowboys, and Connor Williams put him on his ass, okay? Our linemen, James Daniels, Sam Mustipher, Cody Whitehair, go out there and attack him. Don't be scared by this guy, since he is the, a perennial, best player in the NFL, and he's just a dominant player. Go out there. Do not let him ruin this game. Control the line of scrimmage, and let's absolutely go out there and punch him in the mouth. Next thing, move Allen Robinson around. Move him around. I alluded to it a little bit earlier in the podcast, and the biggest thing that I saw on how to get rid of and kind of cloud Jalen Ramsey's ability to get comfortable in a game is if he has to shadow a wide receiver, move that wide receiver all around, from outside to the slot to the other side, all over the place. like I said, the Green Bay Packers did with Devontae Adams last year in the playoffs. They made him uncomfortable, and it was the first time since Jalen Ramsey has been in the NFL that I saw him physically uncomfortable in an NFL game against a team. Use that to our advantage. Allen Robinson can beat Jalen Ramsey. He can put him at, and so will Darnell Mooney. Like you said, Matt Nagy, use that trickery, move these guys around, make him uncomfortable, because the next guy is Darius Williams, and I have no issue that our wide receiver is going to burn him. My last key of the game is this. Don't let this poor running back room for the LA Rams of Sony Michel and Darrell Henderson Jr. Do not let them beat you in numerous different ways. Don't let them catch these screens and take it for 20, 30 yards. Don't let them run it up the middle on us. Don't let these C running backs beat us in different kinds of ways on this team, because Coach McVay is sneaky, and I think he does have a kind of tricks up his sleeve for Sony Michel. Don't let him beat us. Roquan Smith, look at them in the face, go find them, shut them down, and let's win this game.
Wow. I agree. I think my favorite point that you have is move Allen Robinson around, because if Jalen Ramsey is going to just go after Darnell Mooney, well, here's another thing, is that if you have both of them on the field, Jalen Ramsey should, in theory, be guarding Allen Robinson, right?
100%.
No, he's going to want to go after Darnell Mooney. He's not going to listen to his defensive coordinator. He's going to go after Darnell Mooney because he wants to shut Bears fans up. That's fine. If Darnell Mooney has a bad game, I want him to have a good game, but if it takes Jalen Ramsey out of it and Allen Robinson is just running down the sideline wide open and Andy Dalton just right in his breadbasket, we're living rent-free in his head still, because clearly he couldn't handle the assignment anymore because he had to make a point. Well, guess what? You're going to lose the game that way. Win for the team, not yourself, Jalen Ramsey. That's something your dad could tell you too. But guess what? Let's go to score predictions real fast. London, I'll start because mine's just what it is. 17-16 Bears. I don't care. I got Andy Dalton throwing 2 touchdown passes. One's going to go to David Montgomery because David Montgomery is going to run up the field, and then one on a deep ball to his wide receiver, because that's what we can do now. We actually have a team that can throw the deep ball. And then, Cairo Santos is going to save the day and kick a field goal. So overall, I think it's going to be a really close game. I think each team is even out in its own way. We have the questionable offensive line. They now have the questionable defense. Can they handle it? Can they still be a number 1 defense in the league? Who knows? And their defensive coordinator is gone, I guess, right? I guess LA got rid of. Yeah. So what does that say?
Brandon Stanley. Yeah. He was from the Bears, and now he's the head coach of the Chargers.
Watch out now. You never know. It could be a Chuck Pagano 2.0 over in LA, and they're not liking what they see. So, London, score prediction. Who are you feeling?
Yeah, Nick, my score prediction is 24-13 for the Chicago Bears. Okay. And the reason why I'm going with this is after looking through every single bit and piece of both teams, after being able to watch the Rams on Hard Knocks and also analyzing a lot into this game, my biggest takeaway is this. Their defense got worse. Our offense personnel got better, period. Leave it there. We got a better quarterback. We got better wide receivers this year. Our running back is healthy to start the season. Their defense lost their best players. We gained faster and better players. 24-13 Chicago Bears. Let's go.
1-0 from us. That's the way we're going to do it, because guess what? We love the Bears, and they're going to win every game this year. Bears are going to the Super Bowl. I'm already saying it now. People have, and London, I know we said we were going to do it. This is our last episode post game. Bears season prediction on their final record.
Oh man, Bears season prediction. A lot of people are going like 7-8 wins, and kind of being like 500, sneaking into the playoffs and stuff like that. What is there? 17 games now?
Yep.
Right. 17 games. I'm going to go actually just because I think the Minnesota Vikings are starting to fall apart a little bit due to injuries. And I thought they were going to be a little bit better of a team. Shout out to my buddies who are Vikings fans. Sorry, guys. I at first was kind of on that train with the whole 500, but now I'm going 10-7, locking up a wild card, but a better wild card position. And us going into the playoffs again for the second or third year in a row.
Watch out. That'd be 3 out of the last 4.
3 out of the last 4.
And you know what? I'm going to go 11-6. Why? I think we're going to beat the Rams. I think we're going to beat the Bengals. I think we're going to lose to the Browns. Browns are looking tough, so that's 2-1. I got us beating the Lions. That's 3-1. I got us beating the Raiders. That's 4-1. I have us beating the Packers at Soldier Field. That's 5-1. I have the Bears losing to the Bucks. That's 5-2. I have them beating those 49ers. That's 6-2. I got them losing to the Steelers. That's 6-3. I got them losing to the Ravens. That's 6-4. Beating the Lions 7-5. Beating the Cardinals 8-5. Losing to the Pack. That'd be 9-6. And then winning the rest of their games. You know what? I lost track. Sorry. The mule's talking. I got them at 11-6. I don't care what you guys say anymore. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. 17-16 is my score prediction. 24-13 is London's score prediction. 10-7 is season record position. I'm at 11-6. Go Bears, bear down. We can't wait to talk to you guys after the game this Sunday against the LA Rams. We'll see you guys then.